And China's robot with light-driven system can be used like a bullet to transform ballistics. And here we are with, okay, so fusion, sorry to go back and forth here, but fusion can be used as a propulsion method. Well, this is a brand new propulsion method as well. So this power amplification strategy provides a basis for propulsive motion to advance the capabilities of miniaturized soft robotic systems. A team of researchers led by Chinese scientists has developed a light-driven launch system for tiny robots. The new development is expected to transform ballistics and aerospace industry. The light-driven hydrogel launcher is inspired by squirting cucumber plants. Claimed to release energy in only 0.3 milliseconds, the launcher can take off from any kind of surface. Which, this is cool that this propulsion was inspired by a cucumber plant. Which the videos of the squirting cucumber plants are pretty crazy. You should definitely look that up if you haven't seen it already. I think they had it on Planet Earth on one of them. But researchers claim that engineers' accumulated strain energy fracture power amplification methods is inspiring by the pressurized fluidic squirting mechanism of the Ecobolium elaterial squirting cucumber plants. That was some gibberish. Pressurized fluid squirting mechanism is what they're talking about. It's funny that almost all of the things that we've been talking about here has been pressurized fluid. I just realized that, like, almost this whole time we've been talking about pressurized fluid or fluid dynamics, that's pretty strange. Didn't mean to do that, but it's fascinating. A lot of times I'll put a bunch of articles together and somehow there'll be an overarching theme that just builds on itself. It's pretty cool. I don't always intend to do that, but published in journal Nature, researchers realized a light-driven hydrogel launcher that harnesses fast liquid vaporization triggered by the photothermal response of an embedded graphene suspension. This vaporization leads to appreciable elastic energy storage within the surrounding hydrogel network, followed by a rapid elastic energy release within 0.3 milliseconds. These soft hydrogel robots achieved controlled launch at high velocity with a predictable trajectory. The study claimed that robotic tasks that require robust propulsion abilities, such as jumping, ejecting, or catapulting, require power amplification strategies where kinetic energy is generated from pre-stored energy. To solve this issue, researchers introduced the game-changing method. The launcher can travel a distance 643 times its own body height and could even have the potential to be used like a soft bullet. It has also potential to be used like a smart seeding agricultural robot or medicinal robots for deep tissue sampling. Disc-shaped launchers tested on still and moving surfaces. The small disc-shaped launcher has a diameter of just 7 millimeters, or 0.27 inches, and a thickness of 3 millimeters, but it is able to travel more than 1.93 meters, or 6.33 feet, vertically. The adaptable launch system, which the team tested on still and moving surfaces, including leaves, bark, and viscous liquids, could be used to develop untethered medical robots that require a high force output to enter deep tissue. That's pretty cool. It's like a robot injector, auto injector. Robot could like detect that. I'm just imagining something right here from this technology, but if you were to have a robot that has this shooting interface, you can have it as a rescue bot of going in and finding people that are lost or unconscious or whatever, shoot them up with some liquid saline, give them hydration, pain medicine, or whatever medicine they need. You could deliver it at an intravenous level with this rescue robot. Using accumulated strain energy fracture method, researchers created the artificial squirting cucumber that disperses artificial seeds over meters, which can further achieve smart seeding through an integrated radio frequency identification chip. And from that sentence, it made me think of the whole terraforming thing. They were talking about using seed or plants or stuff that can spread out and change the environment. You could have a self-replicating type of thing with squirting cucumber that disperses artificial seeds over meters. It could definitely be used to autonomously terraform an area. So that's pretty interesting. Power amplification strategy provides a basis for propulsive motion. This power amplification strategy provides a basis for propulsive motion to advance the capabilities of miniaturized, soft robotic systems. Researchers also claim that the system could be used in ballistic weapons. However, they have not conducted any special tests in this area. So they say. It always comes back to weapons, but I mean, think about how many civilian uses that could be used. The team demonstrate the use of launcher in a smart seed robot by attaching a seed and radio frequency identification (RFID) to the hydrogel matrix. When launched into a smart seed bed, the RFID is read by sensors to identify the seed type and broadcast care instructions. So I think that you guys remember the nuclear battery that China came out with not long ago, and they were saying that it could be in pacemakers and watches and phones and basically anything, any sort of device that you don't want it to die. It had a little micro battery that apparently was from nuclear power. And the United States plans a nuclear battery with 50-year lifespan to counter China. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but every time China releases something, we have to counter it with another technology. So we're in this race right now on multiple fronts, not just a space race, but an energy race. And China is way, 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 way far ahead of us as far as energy-wise. Maybe because we've had all of our energy suppressed by big oil. Maybe that has something to do with it. But for some reason, China has a bunch of solar and hydro and nuclear and battery. We talked about coffee-powered batteries from China in the past and tea leaves. And they made a thorium salt reactor already. So they're way, way ahead of us. And we're keep on having to release stuff. Apparently, we have so much stuff in the back room that as they're releasing stuff publicly, we can just, at least for now, hold par with them as they're releasing stuff. I don't think that we have, like, how far could it go? How many levels of cat and mouse are we ready for? I think that's a good question, especially on such a huge spectrum, because like I said, it's not just space or energy, it's transportation and food, and like so many different things are all being revolutionized right now. Medicine. So that's just something to think about, that we're in a wild time with technology and stuff is going to go really, really fast. It can be used to address critical energy storage needs across sectors, including medical devices, remote sensing, space exploration, and of course, military use. The nuclear battery can continue to function for up to 50 years. The announcement comes months after a Chinese startup named Betavolt had come up with its own nuclear battery called BV100, which was about the size of a little coin. The Chinese firm's battery is currently in the pilot stage and is undergoing rigorous testing to ensure it meets all demands and functions as intended. The collaboration between the U.S. firm is therefore aimed at giving the U.S. a homegrown nuclear battery option, and also capitalizing on the market for the product in China. An atomic or nuclear battery works by converting a radioactive isotope in electrical energy through its decomposition. According to experts, these batteries can last for several decades and provide a long-term solution for energy storage. The energy derived from nuclear batteries does not rely on chain reactions, such as the case in nuclear fission power plants. So it says that they're going to start using them for space flights, and apparently we're going to be working with China on this one, is what the article is saying here. And that agreement reached by Kronos and Yashing, the two firms in the U.S., have joined hands to ensure that the nuclear battery will be developed and patented in both the home country and China. According to the agreement, Yashing Group will be responsible for filing the nuclear battery in China, while Kronos Advanced Technologies will handle the filing in North America. Both companies stand to benefit from the process, as they have agreed to share 10% royalties they earn in the US and China, respectively, with one another. The nuclear battery will have several key features which will make it safe and desirable. According to a joint press release by the two companies, the battery will efficiently capture and convert beta particles into electrical energy using semiconductor materials. It will use robust radiation shielding housing to ensure safety and prevent radiation leakage. To ensure stable operation, the technology will also have advanced thermal management systems. That's good. So that's very interesting that they're working together. I would like more information on how these two corporations came to be and why are these cooperating? Why? I don't understand. Why are these cooperating and other ones are not? And I also want you guys to remember the oil and banking website that I had quoted talking about the war in Ukraine rising the price of uranium, and in the United States, we came to the world's, like, I don't remember the name of the organization. It's not one that I'm super familiar with, but it's like a global, worldwide nuclear power atomic banking agency. And we were asking for this huge mega loan to build our nuclear power plants, and they told us no. But here we are. I'm seeing all this different stuff about nuclear power plants being built in the United States as well as China. China actually has a nuclear tourism industry going on right now. So I wish that we could find an expert that would explain to us of how it is that the World Banking Forum and all these energy banking conglomerates will not finance nuclear power plants, and yet they're still being built. Did they reverse their decision just quietly in the back room? And then why is it that these two Chinese and U.S. companies will be working together? Because usually the United States outlaws American companies from cooperating or agencies with China. I mean, I've talked about NASA, how they're not legally allowed to cooperate with China, and that's been a thing for a long time. And here we are with another one. Nuclear container ship with fourth generation reactor could soon become reality. As demands for clean energy is increasing and countries are exploring alternatives for fossil fuels, a nuclear powered container ship can help reduce cargo emissions. In this arena, 3 companies have launched a study to assess multiple factors, including regulatory feasibility. Maersk will research on frameworks needed to establish nuclear container ship using a fourth generation reactor. Now, immediately the first things that I think of are that I'm supportive of alternative energy, of course. I do have some trepidation and worries about putting nuclear reactors out on the sea. There is the giant megawaves, surprising megawaves. I can't think of the name of it right now. There's like megawaves at sea, supersized waves, and then there's the container ship that ran into the bridge not that long ago and collapsed the bridge. What is going to happen if a nuclear powered ship drives into a bridge, or whenever the Evergreen got stuck in the channel, the Panama Canal, or not the Panama Canal, the other one, the other canal, Suez Canal. What is going to happen if we get a ship that's in some sort of emergency situation like that? I feel like it's pretty risky, so hopefully they will do a good job on their safety and rules and whatnot. The study will analyze requirements for updated safety rules along with the improved operational and regulatory understanding that is needed for application of nuclear power in container shipping. Since Maersk launched its energy transition strategy in 2018, we have continuously explored diverse, low-emission energy options for our assets. Jacobson stated that nuclear power holds a number of challenges related for safety, waste management, and regulatory acceptance across regions. So far, the downsides have clearly outweighed the benefits of the technology. Nuclear power could mature into decarbonization pathway for logistics industry in 10 to 5 years. Well, hopefully we have 10 to 5 years, but he stressed that because they said by 2050, 100% of the children on Earth will be affected by heat waves. So hopefully we have 10 to 15 years, right? He stressed that if these challenges can be addressed by the development of new so-called fourth-generation reactors, nuclear power could potentially mature into another possible decarbonization pathway for the logistics industry in 10 to 15 years. Therefore, we continue to monitor and assess this technology along with other low-emission solutions. This study is expected to bring together the expertise of LR as a trusted advisor to maritime industry, Core Power's experience of developing advanced nuclear energy technology for maritime applications, a leading port authority, and Maersk extensive experience in shipping and logistics. And let me just say as well with this Maersk or Marsk, forget how you pronounce it, number one shipping of all weapons manufacturers in the world, number one arms shipment company in the world, which is shameful. The initiation of this joint study marks the beginning of an exciting journey towards unlocking the potential of nuclear power in the maritime industry, paving the way for emissions-free operations, more agile services, networks, and greater efficiency through the supply chain. Brown maintained that a multi-fuel pathway to decarbonizing the maritime industry is crucial to ensuring we as an industry meet the IMO's emission reduction targets, and nuclear propulsion shows signs of playing a key role in this energy transition. There's no net zero without nuclear power, said CEO of Core Power. So take that for whatever you want. That's the CEO saying that. Bowe underlined a critical key to unlocking the vast potential for nuclear energy to transform how the maritime sector is powered is the standard framework for commercial insurability of floating nuclear power plants and nuclear-powered ships that would operate in nearshore environments, ports, and waterways. So he wants to make sure that insurance companies will cooperate as well. We're immensely pleased to be working with some of Europe's most respected industry participants to set out the conditions for how this can be achieved. The interest in nuclear-powered shipping is not limited to Europe. In China, state-run Zhangyang Shipyard has developed a design for a 24,000 TEU Megamax container ship incorporating MSR technology. So once again, China put it out there first, and we're following them. The yard's parent company, China State Shipbuilding Corporation, has touted this ultra-large nuclear container ship as a solution for achieving true zero emissions throughout the vessel's operating cycle. So that's fascinating. I wish that we could have more information about that supermassive DARPA low-altitude cargo ship, of how that's going, because, boy, some of our Caribbean islands could really use that right now. And this is the last article. It says it's a 4-minute read. We'll see. It's CNN Razor-thin solar panels could be ink-jetted onto your backpack or phone for cheap, clean energy. A coating 1,000 times thinner than a human hair could be ink-jetted onto your backpack, cell phone, or car roof to harness the sun's energy, new research shows, and a development that could reduce the world's need for solar farms that take up huge swaths of land. Scientists from the Oxford University's physics department have developed a micro-thin, light-absorbing material flexible enough to apply to the surface of almost any building or object. With the potential to generate up to nearly twice the amount of energy of current solar panels, that's kind of embarrassing that this micro-thin spray material does better than our current materials. Once again, it just shows you how far we've been held back. I mean, it's a joke. Are you joking me? Twice the amount of energy of our current solar panels, this spray stuff. The technology comes at a critical time for the solar power boom as our human-caused climate change is rapidly warming the planet, forcing the world to accelerate its transition to clean energy. That's exactly what I was saying earlier in shorter words. That is why I feel hope. It's because things are getting so bad and accelerating so fast, quickening, as Art Bell had said, that we're transitioning into the clean energy. It's going to happen. Here's how it works. The solar coating is made of materials called perovskites. Oh, I read about this not that long ago, which are more efficient at absorbing the sun's energy than the silicone-based panels widely used today. That is because the light-absorbing layers captured a wider range of light from the sun's spectrum than traditional patterns. The Oxford scientists aren't the only ones who have produced this type of coating, but theirs is notably different. It's efficient, capturing around 27% of the energy in sunlight. Today's solar panels that use silicon cells, by comparison, typically convert up to 22% of sunlight. The researchers believe that over time, perovskites will be able to deliver efficiency exceeding 45%, pointing to the increase in yield that we're able to achieve during just 5 years of experimenting from 6 to 27. This is important because it promises more solar power without the need for more silicon-based panels or specially built solar farms. We can envisage perovskite coatings being applied to broader types of surface to generate cheap solar power, such as roofs of cars, buildings, even backs of mobile phones. At just 1 micron thick, the coating is 150 times thinner than a silicone wafter used in today's solar panels. And unlike existing silicon panels, the perovskites, that is so hard to say, can be applied to almost any surface, including plastics and paper, using tools like an inkjet printer. Globally, solar panel installations have skyrocketed, growing by 80% in 2023 compared to 2022. A company specializing in data and analytics for the clean energy transition, solar was the fastest growing source of electricity in 2023 for the 19th consecutive year. A major driver of this boom is the falling cost of solar, which has now become cheaper to produce than any other form of energy, including fossil fuels. Another important fueling solar's rise is the important efficiency in converting the sun's energy. Okay, so I know I've said this over and over, but the cost of solar just now became better than fossil fuels. Think of how good it could have been so long ago if it wasn't being held back. We could have had this so long ago. It's pretty mind-boggling. But ground-based solar farms take a lot of land, and they are often at the heart of conflict between agricultural industry and governments and companies behind the renewable installations. It says towards the end, the latest innovations in solar materials and techniques demonstrate in our labs could become a platform for a new industry, manufacturing materials to generate solar energy more sustainably and cheaply by using existing vehicles, buildings, and objects. So yeah, we should put that stuff on a lot of on. We have so many empty parking lots in America. I feel like we could make our roads with solar panels, and that is something that we should be looking at, so that our roads can have not only make electricity, but we can put LEDs in the roads, and you can see the road at night, and we could have sensors that can detect when there's something standing on it. Because if it's a solar panel and it's absorbing light, you would think that if a rock or an animal is in the road can detect that because of the lack of light there for an extended amount of time. So if an animal were to cross the road or be in the road, it could set off the road to let you know that something's there ahead of you. Or a tire in the road would block the sensors, and you would get the alert from the road itself that there's an object ahead. I mean, it could probably even highlight the object. But I think Australia was working on that. But I don't know why we aren't using all of our space to generate electricity. It's what we need to do. So here we have a wild one. This is a diver who tells a story after being rescued at sea off the coast of Bald Head Island. What a name, Bald Head Island.
Scuba instructor is safe tonight. It's all thanks to a location device he was wearing and his wife that allowed the Coast Guard and rescue crews to identify the diver. I spoke to that diver who shared his story and what was going through his mind while stranded out at sea due to equipment failure. It was a typical day for Steve Oatman.
I had been on the Meg Ledge hunting for megalodon shark teeth.
That's when the unthinkable happened off the coast of Bald Head Island.
The chain was slack on the bottom, and then shortly, within a few seconds of that, I saw the anchor line rode was slack on the bottom, and realized that something had happened, that it wasn't connected to the boat.
Something was wrong. The end of the anchor line was broken. Instead of panicking, Oatman jumped into action to come up with a solution and get to safety.
Grabbed that piece of the anchor line, tied a bowline knot on it just to give me a loop to attach to, and then I went ahead and started my ascent like I normally would.
Just when he thought he got to safety, another challenge appeared: the current in the water.
It was pushing really a lot harder than it had been earlier in the day.
Using tools from his dive, Oatman was able to get to the surface, but his boat was nowhere to be seen. While he had enough gear and knows how to survive, he was met with another challenge, possibly deadly challenge. His GPS locator broke.
Somehow, and I don't know how, but when I released the clip on that to remove it from my pocket, the clip actually came off of the Garmin and it dropped. It was the worst possible thing that could have happened, which was losing that personal locator beacon at that point.
Just when Oatman was giving up hope.
I actually saw a boat on the horizon to my south. Pretty quickly I realized it was my boat. I knew my wife on the boat would be looking for me at this point because I was overdue to surface.
She also made a distress call for her husband, and within minutes the Coast Guard was on the hunt for him.
As soon as I saw the nose of the helicopter shift, that was a pretty significant, wave of relief.
A wave of relief with a rescue that saved Oatman's life. Oatman says it's important for divers and even boaters to always have equipment, including a locator, with them when they go out to sea. If he didn't have his tools, the outcome could have been very different.
An amazing story tonight of.
So that was a super crazy story. I feel like it's not often that you hear people that have that many things go wrong and then still be able to make it out. And I'm just glad that he was able to stay calm during all of that. But they said that he was searching for or hunting for megalodon teeth. If he would have died, though, that would be a pretty cool way to go, though. I mean, imagine telling somebody with a straight face that, like, your grandpa or your dad or your brother died hunting for megalodon shark teeth in the ocean. And they're like, are you being serious? And you're just completely serious. I mean, that's a hell of a way to go. But I'm glad that he stayed calm and that his wife also didn't just panic, and that they had the resources in the area to get him. It's very miraculous type of thing, especially with him losing the GPS transponder. So we'll go to one more rescue of, I would also say miraculous, of having the assets and the people there at the time that they needed to do it.
Now, a heart-pounding rescue of a Texas mom who suffered a seizure while behind the wheel and plunged into a body of water. Newly released police body cam video shows